Elizabeth!
No, Elizabeth!
No! Elizabeth, don't!
This is Left Unsupervised with Elizabeth Morales, your comedic host that's done it all. Actress, writer, director, producer, hairdresser, bartender, beauty pageant organizer, rock and roll PR expert, talent coordinator, bookkeeper, hostess, makeup artist, wife, mother, and general badass. Now listen as she interviews all of her favorite celebrities, doctors, and entrepreneurs that she's met along the way. This week, Elizabeth is left unsupervised with her guest,
Elizabeth and Dayna.
So, Dayna, here we are. We finished a beauty month. Woo! God, I learned so much in that beauty month.
I really did too. The amount of tips and tricks that we got over that month is out of control.
Out of control. And listen, I'm all about women supporting women, but, I do feel like I need some testosterone in the studio.
And we have some boys coming up next couple of episodes, so stay tuned. Really cool, interesting people. We're taking, obviously a break from beauty. I think you and I and all of you have had enough for right now.
Well, it's been great. I'm all about beauty treatments, and I'm glad we had that month of beauty. But, season 3 came out hard with beauty, and now we're going to get some testosterone in the studio, which, I sometimes feel like I bring the testosterone, but, like
out of the two of us, it's definitely you.
So I'm like, some real testosterone.
Yeah, definitely. And boys are fun.
They are. I like it. I love the energy. So, and I love my girls too, though,
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I just had a birthday pass, and my friends made me feel...
Happy birthday.
Thank you. 29.
Oh, my God. You're such a baby.
I know. This baby got eye cream and a mouth guard and a Marshall's gift card.
Oh, my God. Hey, listen, you got to start early. So eye cream.
Yeah, eye cream, retinol.
Sunblock.
And I need to do my roots because my grays are coming in hot.
Oh, you have grays at 29?
I had grays at 19.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Wow.
Definitely. But my friends made me feel so great.
Well, I think having, girlfriends, the supportive girlfriends is really key. I mean, it's really important, at least to me. Maybe not all girls are the same, but I love to have my girlfriends that are, super supportive. And I feel like girls are very competitive with each other. So it's kind of hard to find real good girlfriends. And once you do, you got to stick together.
Yeah. Do you have any rituals with your close tribe of girlfriends, things that when you guys get together you're always doing with each other?
Yeah, well, I have a group of girls that we go out to dinner, and we have wine, and we just talk about what's going on and how we can help each other. So that's kind of really, really cool. It's 4 of us, and we call ourselves Sane because it's the initial of all of us, the Sane Squad. And I think it's really cool that we sit there and we talk about great things and without overanalyzing, but they're okay, so what are you working on? What do you need? How do we make it happen? And we help each other. If one gets sick, everybody's there calling, making sure they're okay. And it's a safe space, which is really hard to find. I would say, especially in LA, but not really, just anywhere. Somebody that you can trust and that you feel is super supportive. Like I said, I feel like a lot of women, and I think that's changing now, are very competitive with each other and comparing each other a lot. So
did this group of women meet each other recently? Have you guys known each other for years and years? What is kind of the origin of this group?
Okay, so I have 2 different groups. I have my Florida girls that have been my girlfriends for so many years, I don't even want to say. And they're like sisters or my family. So I don't have access to them all the time. And then I have my LA core group of women. And through a women empowerment group, I met this group of women. And I call one of the girls Mother Earth because she's just so grounding and just so they're new, I would say maybe about a year or 2. And then I have my Florida group, which have been family. So I have both. I have the East Coast and the West Coast, kind of my tribe. What about you?
As far as my friends go, I've been the luckiest, and not just my friends in general, specifically a lot of my female friends are really incredible. One of my best friends, her name is Elizabeth. She is my hero. I look at her as this grounding force force in my life. I think that she is, oh my God, I'm getting, talking about her, I'm like crying a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
but
love
that's
her.
important to have.
I love her so much. She's like family to me. She's been incredible. I am very in a place of being very touched by how supportive and incredible my girlfriends are.
Are they new girlfriends or these are friendships? Like, I feel like it's good to have both. Like, I was just like, oh, I don't need any more friends. I have but then if I would have not been open, I wouldn't have met this other group of girls too that are soul sisters, like my other group of girlfriends. So I kind of like having new friends and my family. I say my family friends that I've loved and we're super tight and know everything about me.
Definitely. Elizabeth, I'll have known for 11 years at the end of this month.
Okay, so she's
my ride or die.
Yeah.
That's my main bitch. Like, she has been there for me when something that made me so happy that happened over my birthday was I got way too drunk and had to leave my own birthday party. But Elizabeth, my friend of 11 years, and my friends Liz, Nicole, and Marissa. I have a lot of good Elizabeths in my life now that
that's
now
good.
that I'm saying that.
Hey, I love that name, by the way.
They all kept hanging out, even though I had to be carted home.
Oh, but that's good. But
and it made me
your
really
friends
happy.
cart you home.
Yeah, it was great, but it made me really happy to know that they also connected with each other because they are all such amazing people. But my girlfriends are really special and really great.
Yeah, it's important. And, how lucky for us, because there's people that go a lifetime and don't have a real friend. I feel like I have literally a tribe of, and I reciprocate that too, because there is a lot of friendships that you give, and I call them the energy vampires. I've had friendships that I've had to end, and I'm talking about friendships that were 20 years plus. And if you grow and they don't, there becomes like this weird thing.
Do you ever feel, because I had an energy vampire in my life a few years ago and I had to really cut the cord. And it's funny because I get this perspective on the world where you're basically told like it's not you, it's them.
Right.
But this person, it was really them. And
Right.
I really needed to cut them out.
Yeah.
Because I find, and I'm sure you will be able to articulate more on this, when you are an empath and people can get abusive with it, when they know that you will respond and you will be there for them and you will show up, there can come a point where it becomes abusive, where you have gone way too far. It is not okay to constantly be going to this person with every little thing and woe
I call
is
it
me.
being somebody's dumping ground. I don't want to be your dumping ground. I don't want to have that kind of friendship. A lot of times I continue to friendship because it's been so many years we've been friends, right? And I do quotation marks. But that shouldn't be why you stay in a friendship or in any type of relationship. And I found that I was spending so much time, particularly with this one person, where if I was going out and I didn't invite them, I couldn't post, and because they would get really upset, and then I would have to hear the wrath of why didn't I get invited. And it was like this constant victimization of her life, and I was constantly the dumping ground. And I realized I don't want to be your therapist. I want to be your friend, and we're here to support each other, but I don't want to be your dumping ground. And I realized that when I terminated that friendship, I was spending so much energy like, oh, I can't post this, and if I don't invite her to this, and she's going to get mad if I don't, it just became, and then when I ended that friendship, it was so liberating. I didn't realize how much time I spent doing all this stuff, song and dance, and nothing made it better, because you got to work on yourself. Nobody can,
The amount of times that I should have just looked at this person and gone, you have to go to therapy. And I can't be that person. Like, I can't be that. I would wake up early in the morning, sometimes stressed about what was going on in this person's life.
It's
And I
crazy.
had plenty to be stressed about.
You got your own stuff to handle, but listen, I'm not a therapist, and so I tried to help this person, and I tried to tell them, listen, you need to go talk to somebody. I'm not qualified, but there's also something that if you're growing and you're doing everything you can to better and deal with your own demons, because we all have our demons, right? So you're trying everything in your power to deal with your demons, to better your life, to be creative. For me, I have to be creative. It's my outlet. And then you have somebody that is not and is just wants to complain and be a victim of life. That to me is like there's no growth. And so I think that friendships sometimes end because one person grows and the other person doesn't and can't handle it, you know? And so for me, I've tried to eliminate the energy vampires. And I now straight out, if I have a girlfriend that's calling me every day with the same drama that she's had for years, I'm like, girl, I can't do it. I can't be your dumping ground.
Can I talk Brene Brown? Can I geek out for just a second?
Do it, girl.
I've been watching Call to Courage a lot lately because I find that, like any good piece of art,
What is Cult of Courage?
A Call to Courage is, if you haven't watched it, it's her Netflix special. If you haven't watched her talk on vulnerability, shame. So Call to Courage talks about vulnerability and the importance of vulnerability. She talks about only taking opinions from other people that are in the arena. And I find that energy vampires tend to be highly critical of themselves as well as other people around them. But sometimes in their criticism of themselves, I will take that on as my own.
Right.
I've tried to be better about it myself after watching this, which I don't think was her point necessarily, but often people who are not in the arena will offer advice or criticism and things, and to not take those opinions. And I find that that's what a big energy vampire symptom is that quality of people that are not putting themselves out there the way that you are.
Right. And it's also a mirror of themselves. So, you know, of things they feel threatened if you grow. And really what you want your friends are to be like, you know, like when my friends succeed in something, I feel like that success is part of, you know, like, oh my God, let's celebrate it. Let's you know, what can I do? I'm going to repost. I'm going to talk about it. You know, I want to be there for them. And I think life has taught me a lot about friendships. And I was always the one that I felt like I had to be there for everybody all the time in order to be likable. And I think that, you know, you get to a point in your life that you're like, hey, I need to like work on myself instead of spending all this energy trying to help and fix everybody else when I'm like broken too, you know? I need to work on myself.
I have some true cheerleader fatigue right now. I love the people in my life. It doesn't take away how happy I am for them.
Cheerleader fatigue.
True cheerleader. I'm just picture me with pom-poms on like the side of the road, just like, you got it. But with this cheerleader fatigue has also come this very vulnerable thing for me, which is me asking the people in my life to still love me and care about me when I'm not over the top caring.
Right.
When I'm not the one that's going to check in with you all the time and be the one that's reposting your thing and talking about you at parties and always being that person. It's very vulnerable and scary for me to ask, hey, still keep me in the place in my life that you are without me being this over the top, smothering with like kindness and love kind of person. But it is scary for me to say, like, please love me, care about me, have me be your friend without this, because I'm going to be taking this away now.
But that's okay. I mean, the fact that you even know that about yourself, and I can relate. I used to have to be there for everybody all the time, or I was not being a good friend. And it's okay to I always say relationships are not 50-50. Sometimes they're 70-30. Sometimes they're, 80-20. Sometimes they're 50-50. So as long as you're getting from a friendship and you're not that person's psychologist or that person's cheerleader all the time, and it's not being reciprocated, then, that's where I find that energy vampire. And so I think when you grow, you kind of start going, okay, well, what is going to serve me? And without doing the woo talk, how much time am I really spending being somebody's cheerleader when I have stuff that I got to work on myself? And so I think that's the balance, is finding those friends that know and they're there for you.
Yeah, and it's been wild how supportive people are. It was a scarier thing for me to admit to people and be like, hey, this is just where I'm at. And my friends have been wildly supportive, incredibly supportive. I recently I cut out drinking for 30 days, and my friends have been very supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I've been doing the same thing. I didn't even know that.
You and I
Why-
have done this before where we've been doing the same thing and not
know
talked
it.
about it.
Yeah. Okay, so why are you doing it? I'll tell you why I'm doing it. Why did you decide to not drink for 30 days?
I had a couple of big reasons. One is that the recovery from a couple of drinks where I'm at right now, physically and mentally,
Right.
is I have a 7-day recovery because I
It doesn't get better as you get
doesn't-
older.
Oh, fuck! If I used to need a bagel and an iced coffee, and I was ready to go again.
Me, it was Jack in the Box Monster Taco, and I'm
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yes, that it. What a simpler time.
Yeah.
But now I have 2 days of physical recovery where I'm just off. I'm like not sleeping right. I'm not hydrated. I'm too hydrated. I
Yeah.
feel sick. I want a slice of pizza.
You want junk food.
Yeah, and I smoke a shit ton of pot because it's all I could do to even out.
Right.
And then I'm sad for like 5 days, which is something that never used to happen. I was never sad for 5 days, but
Well, alcohol is a depressant, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And somebody once said to me, and I never forgot it, I'm just only now implementing it, but you borrow happiness from the next day when you drink.
Oh,
So, like, you're taking
that's
some of that
interesting.
happiness. And I basically, every time I drink, I'm taking up a week of my life in a way.
Yeah.
I'm still functional, like I'm still doing stuff, but
Well,
I'm just not
yeah.
myself, and I don't feel as good, and I don't want to go to yoga, and I don't want to meditate or read or do anything besides smoke pot, eat junk food, go to work, and go through the motions.
Right. Well, I think you'll find that you're going to have a lot more clarity and energy. I've been doing it too. Me, it's been because of health reasons. I mean, I haven't talked about it on air, and eventually when I'm really ready to dive in. But for the past 9-10 months almost, I've been in and out of the hospital, and they've been trying to figure out what's going on. I wasn't a big drinker anyway, but now I've been forced to not drink at all. And I got to tell you, it's really been like my body feels different. And also for me, I have 3 drinks is my maximum. That's like I am loaded at 3 drinks, and it'll take me 2 to 3 days or a week to recover. So my maximum I try to keep at 2, which I haven't even done for so long now. And it feels good, but I cannot lie. I am ready when the doctor gives me the go ahead. I'm like kind of looking forward to having like moderately have my 1 martini or my glass of wine. But I think it's interesting too. I don't know if you've noticed when you don't drink, and I saw this with my girlfriend when she was doing a body competition and she wasn't drinking. She was eating like really clean. She had to have her meals prepped. And people get really weird when you go out with them and you don't drink. They're like, why? And they start interrogating like why, and they're like, well, we'll just have 1 drink, or they don't want to go out with you because you can't drink. And I'm not talking about my close friends, but just like acquaintances, and people kind of get a little bit weird unless you're like saying, oh, I'm an alcoholic and I can't drink, then that's acceptable. But
I think,
what's your experience?
I think I have 2 different kind of experiences based on different groups of friends. I find that the people who are in my life that are creative, comedy type are it doesn't even faze them that
right.
You're not having a drink. A lot of people don't drink. It's just very career focused millennials. It's not good or bad if you do or don't. It kind of flies under the radar. I find that my close friends or acquaintances that are more in the party type brain mentality.
Right.
Although I will say I have a DUI, so if I drove somewhere, that tends to be my get out of jail free card where people are like, oh yeah, you can't.
You're like,
I'm like, yeah, no, I drove, so I can't even have a sip. I'm just going to have a Coca-Cola.
so that eliminates the
it
conversation all around.
It does stop the conversation, but if I was to dare be like, I'm really trying to
be clean for 30 days.
For 30 days just to, see if I like it or see if it makes a difference or if I could save a little money, clear up my skin. Where are you going, sir? I thought you were interested.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's interesting for me too. I've learned a lot about myself. There's certain yesterday we went to Santa Barbara and we were having seafood, and oh my God, just seafood, shellfish, and Bloody Marys are married. They're supposed to go together. So I were sitting there and I told Mike, oh my God, I never think about like, oh, I can't drink right now because I've been concentrating more on just getting healthy. But I was triggered. It's so funny how like certain things can trigger you. Yeah, all I could see was a sea of Bloody Marys in the restaurant. I didn't notice anything else. But, oh, look, she's having a blood. Ooh, that looks good. She's having he's having a Bloody Mary.
Sounds like you were in a weird fun house.
I was. It was so weird.
I don't like Bloody Marys. I never have.
Oh, my God.
I like a michelada.
I love a michelada.
But I hate vodka. So they've never.
Okay.
You know what I want, though, is I want all the snacks that come in the Bloody Mary.
Oh, my God. I went to this place and put a cheeseburger slider on the Bloody Mary.
Yeah, correct.
That is crazy.
That's correct. That's what a drink should come with. I think I should be able to order an Aperol Spritz and it should come with a tiny cheeseburger.
Yeah, but if the bread's wet, it's just too disgusting. I can't have soggy bread. It's like a weird thing I have.
I'm an animal. I'll eat anything.
Now Aiden does that. He's like, oh, I can't eat this. I go, why? It's like the steam from the hot whatever made the bun kind of moist. And he's like, it grosses him out. And I'm like, and Mike's like, oh my God, both of you together. And I'm like, I understand you. I'll get you another bun. You know?
You are seen, you are heard, you are my son.
Yes.
Speaking of eating stuff, I have been on a real croqueta kick lately.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Oh my God. I've been waking up on
Okay.
Sundays getting Cuban coffee and croquetas. And
You
it's
mean
been amazing.
Cuban crack?
You should have seen me at Target. I was moving at an alarming pace.
Oh my God. You're not a Cuban if you don't have that special coffee pot in your house with some café bustelo. And let me tell you, I used to live on that. I used to work at a bank when I lived in Florida, and I worked for the guy that gave out the loans, the loan official. And so in Miami, it's just a custom where they bring those little styrofoam cups with little shot glasses. And so every time one of his new clients would come, they would bring a shot. So I would be on that shit all day long. I can't even imagine doing that. This is probably why I created stomach issues and grew another pancreas in my stomach.
That, you know the machine that like counts the money super fast?
Yes.
I picture you just doing that without the machine.
Oh my God. So the other day my gardener's out there and he's like, I could tell he was dragging ass. And so I'm like, hey, Antonio, you want some Cuban coffee or do you want American coffee? He's like, no, let me have some of that Cuban coffee. And girl, I make it good. I do that little foam, the sugar foam on top. And so I made it for him and then I felt bad for his worker. So I'm like, I asked him if he wanted some too. He's like, yeah, sure. So the next week they come, they both drank their coffee. The next week they come and I go, hey, Antonio, you want some Cuban coffee? And he's like, not really, but I'll take some American coffee. And I go, well, what about your worker? And he's like, well, he thought last week he was having a heart attack after the Cuban coffee. So he doesn't want to drink any more coffee.
It's very serious coffee because I thought a cold brew and a Cuban coffee can't be that different. But
it's different. It's
shit.
like Turkish coffee. It's like mud. Yeah.
It's so good. There's a great episode of, I think, Courtney and Chloe Take Miami, the critically acclaimed Emmy-winning series, Courtney and Chloe Take Miami, where Chloe gets into Cuban coffee.
Oh, my God.
It's the perfect... It's exactly the process that you go through with it. It's you try it, you instantly get addicted. The rush is too much.
The rush, but then you have the things that go with it. You have the croquetas, and you have the pastelitos, and the guava and cheese. Oh, my God. I want Portos.
Porto's it's so well lit. It's like dreamy in there.
It's so clean. Like
so clean.
So I know the story of the owner. He moved out here from Miami. And he had a little teeny hole-in-the-wall place. And then it would get packed. So he had to expand and expand and expand. And now he's got these, 2 or 3 places that are huge. And there's still lines going out the door.
My cousin Jenna was in town a few months ago. And I really wanted her to have it. But I know how long the lines go. So I got up at 6:45 in the morning.
Oh, my God.
To be there at 7.
Dayna, you wouldn't get up at 6:45 to go to the gym, would you?
No, absolutely fucking not. There's not a parallel universe that exists. I'm very into string theory. There is not a universe or a dimension that exists where I'm getting up at 6:45 to go to the gym, but I will get up. You give me
croquetas.
not only that, the line was still out the door. I waited the entire time. And when I got up there, they were already sold out of the chicken croquettes. I was like, how fucking early do I have to get up to avoid this? But it doesn't exist at that place. So you have to wait in the line.
You have to have some Cuban coffee before you go.
If you'd like to sponsor us, let us skip the line. I will truly talk about this every episode.
I'll have it with every meal. Oh my God, it's so and I love Cuban bread. Porto's reminds me of a little piece of home. I miss the food in Florida, but it's funny because I'm Cuban. Every time somebody knows that I am Cuban, they have to do a line from Scarface. And it's usually, something like, say hello to my little friend, and it's always, or they think I'm like smoking cigars, sitting at home, which I fancy myself a cigar smoker. Every now and a blue moon, I do enjoy a cigar, but it's just funny. Little do they know that every Cuban has a machete. I have my grandfather's machete.
I did not know every Cuban had a machete.
They have this thing with machetes. It's really weird, but I don't know. Like, my grandfather had a machete. Like, I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I got the machete under the bed." So she has the actual machete is between the box spring and the mattress, so the handle's out. So, and I'm like, well, what are you going to do with the machete if somebody comes blazing in with a gun? And she's like, I don't know. I'll chop them up. That's something, I'll get my way. But yeah, I have my grandfather's machete. It's really weird. But Mike's like, what's up with
fucking
that?
What? I've never heard of this.
Machete, but that's Mexican. But yeah, the Cubans, I don't know. I could be wrong. If you're Cuban, let me know if you have a machete.
Yeah, you know what? If you're Cuban, let all of us know if you have a machete. I can't think of a single cultural equivalent.
Wait, I need to look this up. I am going to look online right now. If there's something funny, there's this Cuban girl. I can't remember her name right now, but she does all these funny things about skits.
Is it Jenny Lorenzo?
Jenny Lorenzo.
I think she's hysterical. She's so funny. I'm not Cuban, but I can always identify, I'm sure like the same way that people did with like my big fat Greek wedding is you see your own family and things. And I think she's so funny.
Look, historic Cuban machete. I'm not lying.
I didn't think you were. I was just really taken aback. Like, I was with you for like coffee and croquetas, and then you hit me with this. Also, I picture very small, like, abuela. Abuela.
Just with her machete. Oh, yeah.
Machete.
No kidding.
All hopped up on coffee.
Dangerous. With machete in one hand, croqueta in the other, and the coffee. If you mess with her, that little Cuban old abuela will slice you up.
Speaking of abuela and croquetas, what's that process like?
Well, I don't know, but I remember my grandmother used to make them, and she would make, because I kind of grew up with my grandmother, and she would make all day long. She even made this, you remember those big oil cans that were like tin? So she actually would take a hammer. She'd make her own shredder, and she would be shredding and smashing potatoes. It was like an all-day process, but then she would make mounds of croquetas, and that's all I would eat until they were gone. And they were I've never had them like my grandmother made them. Oh, well, I miss you.
Oh, man, those have to be out of control.
It's all day. It's not an easy process.
I think, every culture has that all-day process food, and I think it sounds like that's your Sunday gravy is the croqueta.
I wish I could eat that shit every day. That, the potato balls, but it's all really fattening. Like, that's the thing. I wish they could do like a low-fat version of.
I don't want a low-fat version. Honestly, the only thing stopping me from eating it every day, and I mean this, Mr. Portos, is the fucking line around that place. That's the only thing that's keeping me from having that food every day is that the line. And because of the line, the parking is so bad.
Parking, but it's worth it. Even their pastries are delicious.
Their pastries are one of my favorite things about waiting tables in LA, not far from a Porto's, is sometimes when people come in for a birthday party, they'll bring in a big Porto's box. And if I'm waiting at the table, and you should always offer your server a piece of cake. Always. It's just a nice gesture.
Oh my God.
And when that somebody might at the end of the meal be like, while they're cutting up the cake, and I'll be like, I waived the fee for you.
Oh my God.
Give me a
yes.
piece of that cake.
Put it in my belly.
That's all I want. The whole staff, when we see that big yellow box come in, we're like foxes just waiting.
I think everybody, it's so bizarre to me because I remember once there was a girl in the mall and she was going through the mall with a box of Portos because, you know, it's like very, you know.
It's iconic. If you live in LA, you know that box.
Yeah. And everybody was like, is there a Portos here? Is there a Portos? And she's like, no. She was so frustrated because everybody was stopping her to ask her. And I thought it was, you know, really funny. And it's funny because in Miami, there's a bakery, no lie, every 200 feet and that good. Like, just unbelievable. So when I go back to Miami, guaranteed I'm going to come back with some LBs back on because I pig out. It's so good. So good.
I mean, it's the same when I go to New York. I want all the rainbow cookies. I want all the black and white cookies. I want all the egg rolls, the pizza,
my God.
everything.
The best Italian food is in New York.
Yeah.
And Chinese food is in San Francisco, though, I got to say, is like...
I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. I think New York is
well,
out of control.
Yeah. Oh, God. Now I'm freaking hungry, Dayna.
Now you got to call your girlfriends.
Oh
they
my
support
God.
you and they want you to be happy, and they'll go get food with you.
Well, on that note, I think maybe we should take a little ride over to Porto's and make that 45-minute line. Should we head on over there?
Honestly, Mr.
I need a little Cuban coffee,
I'll
actually.
interview people in line. We'll make it worth your while because I could definitely use a little Cuban coffee right now.
Well, I'm super excited about this week coming up and our guests coming up, and I'm really excited. I'm glad we got to talk today. We didn't have a guest today, but it's kind of nice because we're catching up because, like, although you might think that me and Dayna are together all the time, we barely see each other. It's just kind of when we're recording or we're talking or creating or whatever. So it's kind of nice to have a one-on-one sometimes and just, you know, catch up.
It's always nice to have like another, just another person that's like here to root for you, cheer you on. And I think the best kind of creative relationships are the ones that you don't need to be together all the time. You can kind of take some time apart and enjoy your life and then come back together and celebrate all that.
Absolutely. I agree. All right, guys. Well, we will catch you next week. Thanks for listening to Left Unsupervised. Don't forget to stalk us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Left Unsupervised Podcast. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.